Chargers versus Steelers play an amazing Sunday night football game. 41-37 victory for the Chargers. What a game. Sunday night special. Sunday night classic. It looks like the Chargers were charging the game away. To put it in a term that everyone will understand, the Chargers are charging. We all know the heartbreak losses that the Chargers experienced, the blown leads, the missed field goals. It looks like they were doing it again. Obviously, we got to give credit to the Steelers for fighting to the end with all the injuries that they had on defense. Missing Watt from their line, but they fought to the end, and it looked, from my point of view, starting the fourth quarter, the Chargers were up 27-10, and they had scored on basically all their drives, and it just felt like if the Steelers don't score a touchdown right now to make it 27-17, this game's done. Their defense hasn't been able to stop the Chargers, and I gotta give them a little bit of a pass. They have a lot of injuries, but it is what it is. Just for this game, it just looked like the Steelers are not stopping the Chargers. They're already down 17. If they don't get a touchdown to cut it to 10, this game is done. Because at best, they're going to hold them to field goals. And that offense is not looking that great for the Steelers. And so you understand where this was going. It was like, okay, this game, they got to get a touchdown. And when the Chargers held them to 3 to make it 27-13, 2-touchdown game, you kind of felt like the game was getting out of hand for the Steelers. You're like, all right, Chargers are going to get the ball. They're going to go down the field like they've done the whole game. At least get another field goal back. And now it's a 3 possession game. And you're probably like nearing the middle of the fourth quarter, and it's probably game over. But the Chargers started charging, and they get a block punt that they down inside the 10. Najee Harris scores a touchdown. Now it's 27-20. And now the Steeler fans are getting loud at SoFi Stadium. And it looked like there was more Steeler fans than Charger fans. They were waving their terrible towels. You felt like the Steelers were back in the game. And you're like, okay, how are the Chargers going to get out of this? They need to, put some points on the board. They need to quiet the fans. It's just crazy because they're at home, but they need to quiet the Steeler fans after having that block punt, after Najee Harris cutting it to a 7-point game. And to the Chargers' credit, they go down the field and they score a touchdown. Austin Ekeler got his 4th touchdown. Shout out Austin Ekeler for a great fantasy game. A great game overall. And they scored Austin Eckler's 4th touchdown, making it 34-20. And you're like, okay, is this it? Like, we got to see the Steelers drive down the field again, especially because they haven't really done it this whole game. They scored their last touchdown from inside of the 10 because special teams. But to the Steelers' credit, to Big Ben's credit, he drives them down the field pretty quickly, scores a touchdown. Now it's 34-27, and the pressure goes back to the Chargers, and the Steeler fans are super loud at SoFi Stadium. They're waving their terrible towels. You're like, all right, they did it once. Are the Chargers going to be able to get out of this situation, score some points, quiet down the fans? And to my surprise, they weren't really running the ball. They came out throwing the ball heavily, and Justin Herbert gets a ball tipped in the line, ricochets up into the sky, gets intercepted. The defense gets another turnover, puts the ball back into the Steelers' hands on the Charger side of the field. And next thing you know, you blink, and the Steelers score a touchdown. Tie game 34-34. And you're like, wow, how is this happening? The Chargers are charging up 17 in the fourth quarter. Like, they showed a stat of how many times you win and how many times you lose. And it was so skewed towards the winning side, and you're like, wow, the Chargers are really gonna blow this. So once the game is tied 34-34, the Chargers need to score. At this point, Steeler fans are going berserk in the stands. It's loud. Justin Herbert's having to, cover his ears to hear the play call. And the Chargers get like 1 first down, and they're faced with like a 3rd-10, and they get like 8 yards. They 4th and 2 to go. They go for it on their side of the field, and they don't convert. Steelers get another stop, another turnover on downs. Thankfully for the Chargers, their defense is able to hold up. They only give away a field goal, but from being down 27-10 to start the fourth quarter with like 3 minutes left, the game is now 37-34 Steelers, and you're like, what just happened? That's insane. Like, if you missed that whole sequence, those 10, 11 minutes of football. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but that was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous game. It was a ridiculous scenario to be a part of. And now you're like, okay, the Chargers have to score. They've been moving the ball pretty good, especially in the first half, not so much in the second half. They got to go at least get a field goal, force overtime. But the Steelers' injuries came back to bite them again. Missed assignment, blown coverage, 50-yard touchdown to the house from Williams. And the Chargers take the 41-37 lead. But they scored too fast. It kind of felt like the Steelers were going to have time to drive down the field. But the Chargers' defensive line stepped up to the task and gets 2 sacks on Big Ben. And at that point, the game was over. It was like 4th and 30, and they couldn't do it. But overall, just even recapping the game, I got to catch my breath. That was ridiculous, asinine. I can't even believe that happened. If you missed that game, I feel sorry for you, because that was probably one of the games of the year. There's been a lot of games of the years this year, so just keep watching football and you'll see something epic this year. But this one was up there. It was ridiculous. As a neutral fan, I wanted more. I couldn't get enough of it. I was like block punt, tipped interception, blown coverage, missed 4th down. It was just an amazing game. 4 touchdowns from Ekeler. Amazing game. If you didn't watch it, make sure to catch the highlights. But Chargers get the victory. They keep pace with the Chiefs. And the AFC wild card is wide open. It is wide open, man. There's 7-8 teams that are fighting for that wild card. Everyone's basically fighting for the wild card. The Bills were the 2nd seed in the AFC and they lost, and now they're the 7th seed. It just goes to show you how tight the AFC is. The AFC is, and every game counts, especially if you're playing against another team that's in contention, because they kind of count double. But amazing game. This game might have a lot of implications at the end of the season for the AFC standings, but good job for the Chargers. Good job for Justin Herbert for stopping the Chargers from charging. I feel like any other year without the lead of Justin Herbert, this game would have ended with the loss for the Chargers. They would have definitely folded. Credit to the Chargers for folding, but man, they definitely like to give their fans a heart attack every week. And the Steelers, we'll see how they do. Got to give the Steelers credit for never giving up.